Hi, it's Celeste, your canary in the coal mine. Today I got my second box from the farmer that's going to provide me with fresh veggies, organic veggies, off his fields up through Thanksgiving. The delivery started last week, which was about the last week of June, and I'm really excited to see what arrived this week. A friend of mine, when I was telling him about what I'd gotten last week, said, why don't you record this process of looking at your food and figuring out what you're going to do with it for one of your videos. So that's what I'm doing today. So here's the box, and let's see what I've got. So here's a bunch of green onions. I can use those in soups or in salads. Here's a bunch of, looks like kale. I can't always be sure I know how to recognize things, but this looks like kale to me. So I'll probably boil that down and make like cooked vegetables with it. And then here's something. What the heck is this? Not quite sure what this is. It has purplish stems. And I can either find out what it is, or I can taste it and I can decide if it has a mild taste. I might want to just use some of the greens in a salad. And if it has a little bit more sharp taste, what I'd probably prefer to do is to once again boil it with a little bit of vegetable broth, onions, and garlic, and just make cooked vegetables out of it. And what else have we got? Okay, more onions, different kind. There's some purples in here now. That first batch might actually have been a variety of, this batch might actually have been a variety of garlic. He said something about garlic when he was handing me the box, so since I'm really sure these are onions, that might have been a variety of garlic. And then we've got what looks like Swiss chard here. So this will be something else that I can either use in as a cooked vegetable, or chard is pretty mild in flavor, so I might want to just take some of the greens and put them in a salad. I can use them in smoothies. You know, my whole goal here is to get a lot of greens into me, fresh greens that still are alive. Okay, and here's a bag of lettuce. Looks like some green leaf lettuce and some of these, and he said something about putting a little bit of spicier lettuce into the mix. So whatever it is, these will be my salads. Probably for me alone, I might get 4 pretty big salads out of that when I add other ingredients. And here's something I didn't know how to use last week, but now I know how to use. It's kohlrabi. And what I did was I boiled up the greens and ate those, and then I made the bulb part of it into a soup. I just figured it was going to be like something that I could chop into pieces, boil with some onions and garlic, and then I have an immersion blender. Let me show you what that looks like. So it's this thing, and once I get the broccoli or cauliflower or the kohlrabi or whatever boiled to a softness, then you just plunge this into the pot and you turn it on, and it cuts up the stuff in there and makes it into kind of a smooth, creamy soup without adding any kind of dairy products. And then you just flavor it. I mean, it's like I make these soups with just the basic onion, garlic, and whatever the vegetable is. And then I taste it and I say, oh, I think I'd like to make this with these seasonings today, or I'd like to make this with these seasonings. And if it's a large amount of soup, I might make 3 or 4 or 5 jars and then season them different ways rather than putting the seasonings directly in the first cooking pot. And what have I got here? Okay, I've got some beets. Well, I think you can see it through the bag. which is great because I love the beet greens cooked, and I love the bulby part of the beets. I juice them along with carrots and apples to make what I think is a delicious juice. A little bit of ginger, usually add some celery and some cucumbers to give it a little bit more liquid. And then here's some raspberries. I'm looking forward to those. I had some last week and they were very tasty. And here's some peas, which this is wonderful. I mean, I haven't had fresh peas and I can't tell you how long. And the last thing in the box is a cabbage, which just came in time because I'm running out of the sauerkraut that I made a few months ago, and so I'm going to make some more sauerkraut with this cabbage. So that's what I got this week. A little different than what I got last week. Didn't get a cabbage last week, didn't get peas last week. But the bottom line is I'm learning how to adjust what I cook to what arrives, which is the old-fashioned way. When we all grew our own food, you ate a lot of whatever was coming off the field right at that time. You didn't have grocery stores where you could go get anything you wanted at any time of the year if you were willing to pay the money for it. So that's what came in my box. Last week, a similar amount of food came, and throughout the course of the week, that pretty much made up most of my meals during the week. And I wanted to make sure that by today, when I expected my second delivery, my refrigerator would be as empty as possible to take this food. So that's my video for today, and as usual, I want you to get well and stay well. Thanks.